My next guest has tread the boards in entertainment from a young age, alongside one of her best friends. She's a good friend of mine. She's now a mother, also a support worker. Please welcome Angela Reedy.
Thank you, Kai. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for being here today.
Oh, thank you for asking me.
So I suppose what this whole thing is about is I had the idea of basically being able to tell each person's story, you know, kind of like this is your life, but just for everyday people, basically, in a sense. So yeah, that's kind of what this is, but it's, yeah, just a little bit of fun, reminiscing, I suppose, on your past and yeah, all of that. So with that, why don't we start at the beginning? Growing up, whereabouts was growing up for you?
So I was born in Melbourne, and when at a very young age we moved to country Victoria, a little town called Warwicknabeal, and I spent my first 10 years there unsuccessfully trying to play the piano.
Yeah.
So got through the I don't know, half of maybe grade 1. And then when I was almost 10, my parents decided to move on from Victoria and we moved to New South Wales. To a coastal town called Woolgoolga. And
right, okay.
That's where the theatre life began for me. I met my still best friend now, Vanessa, and yeah, when we were 10, we joined the local theatre group run by Elwyn Pilgrim, and yeah, it was sort of, we never looked back from then on. We did lots of, Elwyn put us in all the Eisteddfods, and then we did lots of stage plays as well. I think, well, no, Toad of Toad Hall was our first play.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, and so no, and we just, you know, just country town, amateur theatre, and yeah, she did. We both developed an absolute love for the theatre, and Elwyn, you know, enabled us to embrace that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great. So what brought your parents to Coffs Harbor then, or your family? I should say.
Yeah, so they moved. They had a like a hardware store and a grocery store in Warwicknabeal, and you know, it was a pretty hard slog for them, I guess. And they'd both grown up and lived in, you know, well, Mum had in particular in Warwicknabeal her entire life. So yeah, time for a change. And yeah, so they travelled to New South Wales and had a look around at different opportunities, and they found a motel called the Seabreeze Motel. And they decided that that was going to be the life for us. So they bought the old Seabreeze. And
the old Seabreeze. Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So obviously then you went to school in Coffs Harbor as well.
In Woolgoolga, yeah. So,
Woolgoolga, okay. Yeah, so Woolgoolga High
Central,
then.
Yeah, and then Woolgoolga High, and then I moved from Woolgoolga High to John Paul College in Coffs Harbor.
Okay, yeah.
So I was in the inaugural, like the founding year for JPC. Yeah.
Okay, far out.
So no, that was it's good time.
Amazing history with Coffs Harbor then.
Yes, yeah. I was in Coffs until I finished school and moved to Toowoomba to study at well, it was called the Darling Downs Institute of Advanced Education back then. So yeah. And
what was the study? What were you
studied acting.
That was acting. Okay, so was that your arts theatre degree or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what made you decide on an arts theatre degree in particular?
Oh, because I always wanted to be famous, you know.
Yeah.
I developed a, you know, I loved acting when I was a kid. And when you come from a small town, you know, you have lots of people telling you that you're the best. So I thought for sure that I'd end up, you know, in NIDA and, you know, probably getting an Academy Award one day. And so, yeah, but I loved acting, and I believed that was going to be my career at the time. So.
Well, you've got to dream somewhere and dream big.
Definitely.
You know, while you're at it.
Yeah.
And where did you want to go from there with the studying? Like, was there actually a particular?
Definitely the stage. Yeah. I had always I would sort of desired to be on stage. I didn't particularly, I mean, I know I said Academy Award, but I really wasn't particularly interested at any point in my life in doing television or film. Yeah, the stage has always been, you know, the place that I want to be. So.
Yeah. So you decided to do arts degree. And then from there, that's where we're up to. And from there, we were discussing how or where you wanted to take it.
Yeah. So yeah, and definitely too. Yeah, I desired a life on the stage. I think that's where I saw my direction. That's definitely where I was wanting to go.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that you're not someone who thinks that they can sing. So I didn't necessarily think it was going to be musical theatre, but you never know.
No. Well, look, you know, you've seen me sing, so my number.
I have. No, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. You're in tune at least.
Yeah, well, I can do that.
And when did emceeing and hosting become such a natural ability of yours?
Oh, well, thank you. So that's Vanessa's fault. Okay. My dear friend from school, Vanessa, has been running the Coffs Harbor of Stedford for a number of years now. She was actually, I believe, solely responsible for reviving the drama section.
She was definitely
the Stedford. She, you know, she's done a wonderful job, and her youngest son at the time, I believe it was Hunter, was doing the Stedford, and I sort of made a rush trip to Coffs Harbor from Brisbane to say, you know, just to come and watch Hunter do his thing.
Yeah.
He was singing, and halfway through, well, I think we did the first half of the Stedford, and then the second half of the Stedford, after lunch break, I came back and Vanessa was in a panic, and I said, what's wrong? And she's like, bloody host, the MC has gone for lunch and not come back. So,
oh no.
Like, oh, that's a bit of a bother. So she hands me a microphone and said, you do it. So
yeah.
Like, they sort of threw me in blind. So I was like, oh, okay, it's a couple of hours. That's a bit of fun. So yeah, pretty much just announcing the kids.
Okay, so it wasn't something that you had trained on, or had actual experience in.
No,
right?
No, never before. Yeah, so no, and then just Vanessa sort of said, "Can you do the rest of the Stedford?" And here we are 6 years later, I believe. And I just keep coming back.
Yeah, you're definitely a staple, I think, in that arena. They kind of can't have it without you, in a sense. With the vocalist Stedford, I believe. But that comes from you also having the experience of the kids as well, from when you were younger. You have that understanding of where they're at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's nice to see them on stage and sort of relive my older Stedford days. So I remember exactly how some of them are feeling. So
So you did drama Stedfords, and
we did drama Stedfords, but we did the Coffs Harbor Stedford and the Grafton Stedford. So two Stedfords a year, for about I think I did them for about 6 or 7 years. Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah. So
wow.
We were in the I think it was the 9th annual Stedford was the first Stedford that I was in. And
right, far out.
They're about to celebrate 50 years this year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah. And I suppose we should touch on Vanessa, or who Vanessa is, and on all of that. As we were saying, she's the head, really, of the drama and the vocalist at Stedfords, in a sense. She's the one who backs it all. She's the one who gets it up and running each year.
She certainly does.
So where did you guys connect and meet? Was that in school, or? So
that was at school. I had just started, I believe it was only the very beginning of the year in 1980. Like the olden days, as my kids call it. But I just started it at Woolgoolga Central, and I was feeling a little bit lost, and some kid, I had a slinky. And some kid came up and was sort of wanting my slinky, and he dragged it away from me, and I was trying to drag it back, and Vanessa came up, and I was all of 4 foot. Oh, I wouldn't have even barely 4 foot, and Vanessa was very, very tall.
I can only imagine.
To me, she was in grade 5. She was probably not much shorter than what she is now. Like she was,
wow.
Yeah, tall girl.
Far out.
And she was like, give that kid back her slinky. And I got my slinky back. And then she said, now you shouldn't be here. You should be up at the prep with the preppies. And I said, I'm in grade 5. So
she hasn't changed, has she?
No, yeah, bossy and honest.
Wow, that's amazing.
But yeah, she thought I was about 6.
Yeah, wow, okay. And then obviously you guys connected, became very, very close over time, you know,
yes, we did.
through doing a Stedfords and all that and gaining that bond.
And going, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And, and we went through school together. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can understand why she would want you on, you know, on her team for the Stedfords as it is, you know, it's kind of like, you know, coming full circle in life, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
And where did marriage and kids come into the picture for you?
Well, they're the reason I'm not famous.
They're the reason you're not famous, okay.
So yeah, that's sort of, I shouldn't say that, but it's true.
So you've got 4 kids, yeah?
I have 4 children. Yeah. Okay. When I finished at uni, I decided that well, I didn't decide. I was probably not doing much at home and probably being, you know, the bane of my parents' life. So my dad decided to find me a job while I was having a little bit of a break, and he found me a job selling encyclopedias.
Oh my God, you didn't?
I did.
Oh no, okay, wow.
I did.
What was that like?
Look, at the time, at the, you know, at 19, it was a fun time. I jumped on a bus with half a dozen other people, and we travelled around sort of New South Wales and into Victoria, knocking doors and selling encyclopedias. We had a fat time. It was great.
Yeah, wow.
And that's how I met my husband, or my first husband. He was my boss.
Okay, right. And that's your eldest two's
father. We moved to, he was English, so I moved to England.
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah. So what brought him to Australia?
You're asking all the right questions. He came over here on a holiday with his fiance.
Oh no, I am asking all the right questions, aren't I? I do too much research.
Yeah.
This is why I interview people I know. Not really.
I didn't ever meet. They had been together for quite some time, like through their high school years and I think through uni. And Roger had proposed, and then they came to Australia, and it was actually the first time in their very young lives that they'd actually spent more than a night with each other. And wow. It was during that, or early days in the holidays, they realised that they definitely weren't each other's people. So, yeah.
Wow.
When I met Roger, he was very, 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 very single and had been for some time. But
yeah. And your daughter, she stayed in England, or she lived in England for a while?
Yeah. So herself? The kids. When we came back, Amy was born in England, and then we came back when I was pregnant with with Daniel. Too many children, and yeah, we all lived here for a while, and then Roger and I separated, and but it was when Amy was probably 23 or 24, she decided to go on a 3-week tour of Europe. And she came home like 4 years later. So, yeah.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah,
what kept her over there? Was it just the experience and the
country of origin, I think? And she did like her paternal grandparents were there, and she loved it. It was just so busy and vibrant, and so many things to do, and just being able to sort of jump on a plane and, you know, be in a different country, and, you know, it was just all very accessible for her. And her brother followed. And about a year later, and he lived over there for 3 years as well. So
so both of them, wow.
Yeah.
Kind of lost half of the kids.
Yes. They waited until they'd had 2 more children to keep me busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've met your current husband.
I did.
Yeah. Paul. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
And was that love at first sight? Did you guys, no? Was it a slow warming?
Yeah, probably. More so for him than for me. But yeah. But no, we met out one night at a nightclub, and I think I went home the next, like that night, and said to my girlfriend the next day, I think I've met the man I'm going to marry. And she was like,
Oh,
oh
really?
wow. So I had an inclination, which even surprised me. But I was even more surprised to find out that he didn't quite have that inclination. So, but I grow on people. So,
wear him down, grow on them.
Probably,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah.
And from that, you got your youngest 2 children.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had, I had Georgia in 2003, and then Josh was born in 2005. Yeah.
Did you get to work in the arts at all during the time of your kids in any capacity, or it was just?
No, not after the kids were born.
Yeah.
I acted like a mother for a while. And I tried desperately to get my children. I was just having this discussion with Georgia this morning. I tried desperately to get the kids involved in the arts, but they were having none of it. Dan,
they obviously would be artistic in other ways, I'm sure.
Amy is an artist. She's an incredible artist.
There we go.
And And she's a graphic designer now. That's what she does. The boys.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, not quite sure about the boys. I did get Dan into what do you call it? The Irish dancing for a while, but
okay, Highland,
no, Irish,
Irish, right.
Irish,
right.
My friend, a dear friend at the time, was a teacher, so I thought, oh, here we go. She gave me mates rates, but he got thrown out. So
what did he do? I have to ask this. As a dancer, I'm a background of dance. What did he do to get kicked out?
Oh, he was only 7. He was more interested in sitting along the floor in his socks.
I got kicked out of a dance school when I was 5, doing ballroom dancing, so I completely understand that.
Yeah, no, he just wasn't. Amy
That's...
did a bit of jazz for a little while, but she wasn't interested. Georgia, my youngest daughter, Georgia, danced for years, and she was actually a really good little dancer, a very good dancer, but just... it's not what she wanted to do. She said, I like dancing, but I don't want to be a dancer. So, she sort of threw that into to concentrate on study in school when she was in grade 10. So,
okay, yeah. And you guys call Queensland home for yourselves?
We do. Yes.
Yeah. So I suppose she's probably in a space where she's got a lot of other things that can stimulate. It's not just dance and one thing or the other like it is in a country town, unfortunately.
And that is the thing. I think I remember like when we were doing Stedfords when we were kids and doing plays, we threw ourselves wholly and solely into it, and there weren't any other distractions because there was nothing else to do. If you didn't surf and you lived in Woolgoolga, you had to find a sport or something else because there was just nothing. A blue light in Coffs Harbor once a month was about our only distraction.
Blue light, oh my God,
at the
far out.
So
it's a interesting dichotomy, I suppose, living in a country town with creativity in a sense. It's interesting to grow up in that world as well. Do you feel that you've been influenced with your morals and your standing in life from that?
I like there's a certain safety in living in a country town, like living in a small town. Like it was a pain in the backside sometimes, got busted smoking, because everybody knows everybody. So, you couldn't wag school or but there was a safety, certain safety about living in a small town and in that that sort of environment, particularly in the arts, particularly our drama group. It was certainly, and it's so sad to say, but it was certainly easier for the girls to be a part of that drama group. The boys got such a hard time, but we, being a smaller community, we sort of bandied together, and it was easy just to have that, your little circle. So perhaps,
And that was mainly high school, like the high school students around you and all that sort of thing, like your peers and all that. Okay. And did you actually have drama at school as an elective and all that?
No,
you didn't.
Drama wasn't an elective. And I'm blown away by the electives and the classes that are offered to kids at school now. I'm just like, why didn't we do that? We didn't have drama. We may have done a little bit of, you know, drama in English, you know, reading or, you know, studied a play, but no, there were no drama classes. And even when I was in grade 11 and 12 at John Paul College, when we started year 11, I think there were 6 or 7 of us doing music. So they canned the course because it wasn't enough.
You're right.
So I had to go from doing, and it's their fault I can't sing because I don't play an instrument, and I was going to do, but my teacher said I could do vocal.
Yeah, okay.
So if I'd have spent 2 years, you know, working my voice, I think, yeah, I might have been a singer.
Do you know you can still achieve that?
Yeah, I don't know.
You actually really can.
Yeah.
It isn't just a natural ability in that sense.
People can learn.
Yeah, you actually really can. There's no such thing as someone who's even tone deaf not being able to learn. Someone who's tone deaf just has to learn how to, they might have to readjust if they've obviously going deaf or something like that. That's a little bit different. But they should be able to feel vibrations because they've got other senses that heighten.
Oh, okay.
So there's certain things that you can feel. You can feel the sensation of the pulse, you know, basically the frequency. The higher it is, the kind of more you'll feel it in your body, higher up.
Oh, that's really interesting. I just thought some people had absolutely no business singing, but
no, that's not the case at all.
Everyone should be able to sing. We need to do more classes.
It's that not everybody can be a pop diva or a, you know, it's about finding your voice. You know, singing isn't about, you know, mimicking someone else at first, especially. If that's what you think you're going to be able to achieve, then you're sorely mistaken. I was pitchy, very, very pitchy growing up. I didn't really have a voice until I was an adult, really. But that's pretty common of kids to adults, you know, you kind of, all children are sopranos. So and from there, where was I wanting to go? Sorry, give me a sec. Oh, where was it? From there, so we were talking about the Eisteddfods and hosting and all of that for Vanessa. What made you decide to go into support work?
So I was managing a bottle shop for many years, and that was a hard slog, and I threw that in because I was doing my back end. I was, you know, the cartons. I can imagine the beer and doing my head in. Working retail it can be a tough gig, and so I decided to take a bit of a break. And when I quit that job, my neighbour across the road, who is also a very, very dear friend of mine, had been accepted and through the NDIS and had a plan and had hours for support work. And he said he'd really like somebody to come in and, you know, give him a hand in the kitchen and sort of accessing the community because his partner works full time. And he said, I want the support worker. I just don't want a stranger in my home. No, that's great. He said to me, would you be interested in becoming my support worker? And I did. And I joined a company called Higher Up so that I could be his support worker. And Higher Up is essentially, it's like Tinder for support workers.
For support workers, you have.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I have you have your profile, and then clients have their profiles, and they can they look through a profile and say, this person has, you know, similar likes and interests, or, you know, is offering the services that I'm after. So they just contact you and say, would you be interested? And you have a meeting. And so at first I thought I was just going to work with Michael, and then it sort of snowballed from there. I put my profile up and must have said the right thing because I had a lot of people saying, oh, would you be interested in doing some work? So I have 4 regular clients now, and I just love it. I love my job. Some days can be difficult, but you know, that as with any job, but I just think my only regret is that I didn't start doing it sooner. It's being very selfless and giving back, you know. It does, but I also get
you get heat
yeah.
back. That you get more back
much.
from that, I believe.
Yeah.
Like I've grown up with a mum who's run mental health and worked in mental health my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, so I have a very good understanding of the hard yards and the hard slog it is. But if you feel it's worth it, then you found the job for you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's, you know, if the shoe fits, then, you know, wear it. Do you know what I mean? So that's the thing.
I finally know, like I absolutely understand now the saying that, you know, if you find a job you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And and that's definitely where I am in my life now. So it's not, and as I get older, I sort of think, oh, there's always clients. You know, I have a client at the moment who a little fellow who it does require a lot of lifting, and you know, it's quite a physical job.
But it's more dispersed weight than beer bottles, or
absolutely. He can help me out a little bit. But you know, you can't do that for the rest of, you know, I can't do that for the rest of my working life. But there's clients that that don't require that, you know. So this will be my last job.
Okay. So. It's a it does take a lot to work in that field, definitely. But you love it.
But
so
no, I will never.
Great.
I think this will be what I do for the rest of my working life anyway.
No, that's really great.
Yeah,
that's so good to find something, I suppose, after almost having a few different lives.
Yes. I'm like a goldfish. I have an attention span of a goldfish. I've had so many different jobs. And
a goldfish. I was thinking more like a snake shedding the skin.
No,
goldfish, short attention span. So and what did your husband and the family think of you going into this field? And
well, I think probably, you know, I say that I should have done it earlier, but I think I probably, in with that question, I think I probably did find it at the right time, because, you know, I am away from home a lot. But they're super supportive of the work that I do.
Supporting support workers.
Yes. And to that end, my youngest daughter Georgia, she's actually a support worker as well. She's
wow.
So she's looking to be she's studying as well at the moment. So she wants to be a speech therapist.
A speech therapist.
So she's doing an allied health course at the moment. And we'll see where she goes from there. She started uni, but sort of COVID put an end to that. So now she's just doing her a TAFE course from, you know, studying at home at the moment. But but
there's no point spending too much money at the moment on studying if you can't be there with a lot of different degrees and fields of study. Like it
was disastrous.
You don't end up getting the proper attention that you need. You don't get through any of the work properly. It's just not monitored well enough.
And she finished high school, she started her uni year, and, you know, she had this vision, because I've been talking about, going to uni, it's great, it'll be a whole new phase of your life, you know, the social side of it, and she was really looking forward to that, and just looking forward to that new experience. And then because of COVID, she started uni, and it worked out that she had 1 hour and 15 minutes on a Monday at uni and 45 minutes on a Wednesday, and the rest of her course was all at home. And she just couldn't cope, because she didn't have that. And going straight from school, where you've got all of the support,
you got the resources there,
and the resources, you know, and it's a bit of a shock, because I do remember when I first went to uni, even though we were there full time, it was a huge shock, coming from school where you have got your teachers on your back and saying, if you don't do this, you'll get a detention, and reminding you that you have stuff in, you know, assignments due, and then you go to university, and it was sort of like, I've got an assignment due, and no one cared.
You're left to your own responsibilities.
No one cared if you didn't.
They don't care whether you actually.
I don't care.
I think that's why a lot of courses actually now just do pass fail when it comes to actually studying them, you know. So you found that new career, new line of work. What Oh, that's what it was. I've just remembered. Sorry. I just
You're right.
realized what it was. Coming up, you have Vanessa, who is now directing here in Coffs Harbor, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Are you going to be involved and in the background at all? Or?
Oh, I wish if we lived closer, and that because I was like, can I have a part? There's no part. There's no part for me.
Yes, there is.
She just said no.
Yes, there is. She's not seeing it. It's because you're her friend. You're too
like,
close. You guys are too close.
On Zoom. I live too far away.
Yeah.
But one day, insane, because I would definitely be there to see it. I can't wait for her to do that. And one day, I think I would really like to do something with Vanessa. I would love to get back on the stage with her. My desire for acting isn't as it was years and years ago, but I do like to write. And
okay, do you?
Yeah. And I wrote there's a festival called Short and Sweet.
I know Short and Sweet very well. Yes, I do.
Right. So you know Alex?
I know of, yeah.
Yeah. And well, Sean Dennehy runs he used to, I'm not quite sure whether he still does in Brisbane, but he used to run the Brisbane Festival. Alex started it, and that was the first thing that I did sort of post the kids being born. A friend of mine from Coffs Harbor actually said, have you heard of Short and Sweet? Because they're auditioning in Brisbane. So I went and auditioned, and I got picked to be in a couple of 10-minute plays. I love that. So I did that for a few years. I did sort of each year I would just do the Short and Sweet Festival. Through doing that, I met a group of actors who ran it was called the Actors Gym in Brisbane.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was a really great
I do know of the Actors Gym. Why do I know of that name?
Well, it was a nice little space that people could bring their plays, and then all the actors that were there would just read.
I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. Which was that was great. And then one of the girls there was she had auditioned and got a part in a play called Love Let Me Out, written by a couple that were from Byron Bay, and I auditioned for that, and that was the first full-length play that I'd been in many, many years. And we ran that for 2 weeks in Brisbane at the Metro Arts. And then we took it to Byron for, I think, 3 or 4 days. Yeah, for a 3 or 4 day run. And that was great. But back to Short and Sweet.
Yes.
I thought, I'm going to have a crack at this. How hard can it be to write a 10-minute play? And I did. I wrote a play, and I submitted it, and it was chosen. Oh well, they picked it. It was put on in Brisbane.
Oh wow!
A friend of mine chose it. So I was like, oh yeah, of course Belinda's going to choose it to put, because she knows me. I'd met her, so I was like, thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
She directed it, and I was in it.
That's how the entertainment industry works,
Yeah, exactly. It's not what you know, but I was most flattered when it was chosen by somebody I didn't even know in Melbourne, and so it ran in Melbourne as well. So I went to Melbourne to see it. I thought,
oh wow!
I was like, oh really? It's a 10-minute play, but I was just so excited to see my words. And the Chris Baldock put it on in Melbourne, and he did such an amazing job of it. Yeah.
What is the story behind the play? If you can,
I'll send it to you.
Divulge. Yeah, that'd be great. Yes, please do.
So it's a sort of it's a 10-minute play. I'm not going to blow it by telling the stories, but it's written in 3 parts. So, or there's 3 sort of stories going on at the same time.
Vignettes. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a very young couple, a teenage couple, and they find out that they're pregnant. And then there is a much older sort of mid to late 40 couple who also find out that they're pregnant. And then the second couple is a same-sex couple, 2 men who are desperate to adopt a child. And the young couple, of course, are devastated that they're pregnant, and scared.
And
the older couple are also, he's very excited. The older man's very excited. The woman is not so excited. So it sort of goes through their turmoil of, this young couple having to go through a pregnancy that they really are not prepared for. And then there's the older couple who he desperately wants the child, but she doesn't. So they go on to have a child, a young boy, and they adopt him out. And then the young boy and the young girl have a baby, and they're sort of just desperate for support.
Yeah.
And the gay couple they adopt a baby, and when it all comes together, the people that the older couple, the child they gave up is the young boy who is pregnant with his girlfriend, and the other couple, the two men, have adopted this. They've adopted the younger boy. Yeah. So when so it all comes together at the end that they're all sort of intertwined. But in 10 minutes.
That's a lot.
Took me 10 minutes.
That's a lot for 10 minutes, though. No, but that's a lot for 10 minutes. A lot of content that, but
I would actually
get it into the festival and to that level where it's actually been taken to Melbourne. It must really convey the story and convey the message.
They conveyed the message, I believe, in Melbourne. Sorry, Belinda, but I think the Chris, the guy that did it in Melbourne, with no input from me whatsoever, and and he didn't, they didn't have me there to ask questions or to, sort of verify anything. And they put it together so good. They incorporated music and singing into it and everying. It was just...
The actors process is quite amazing when you actually do learn that there's a proper process to each particular person's, craft, So, and that ran for, how long did you say, sorry, in Melbourne?
Oh, just because it was just through the... just through Short and Sweet. So I believe they run, I don't know, the play might have been on 4 or 5 times, they sort of run a few nights. And then it got picked for the gala it got picked to go into the gala because it won the People's Choice Award.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so that was really cool. But I believe that.
Do you feel like you were relinquishing a baby? Like
I did. I did. I
did.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then going to watch that, it was bittersweet, I guess, because I'd been in it, and I thought we did a pretty good job. But watching that, I sort of had this moment of, I think I'm a better writer than I am an actor.
Okay.
So I sort of thought, that's when I hung up the straps, I think, and thought, I haven't done Short and Sweet or anything else since. So,
What about writing?
I love writing, and I don't know whether you were privy to it when we were on Facebook when I was working at the bottle shop. Were we Facebook friends and I used to write the bottle
No,
shop?
I don't think we were.
Yeah. So I just, I used to write lots of little just Facebook rants and whatever.
Oh, yes. I have seen some of them towards the end. Yeah.
So I would like to, maybe a couple of people have said, you need to write a book, or and I said, what would I write about? And so you've got all these stories, put them in a book. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought they were funny because they were happening to me, but I didn't realize that other people were enjoying them as much as I was enjoying writing them. Yeah.
So what stories were these? Like, what was there any ones in particular?
So there was, I think the very first one that I wrote about was a fellow came in one day and he asked me if I sold Tampax.
Okay.
And I was like, and I said, are you really? And he said, yeah, my girlfriend wants one. And I was like, well, where's your girlfriend? And he's like, she's in the car. And so I had this mind of mine just thinking, oh my God, that poor woman, oh, terrible. Oh, that's terrible. I said, well, we don't. And I said, oh, and the IGA's shut. I said, maybe I might have one in my bag. And he said, oh, really? And I said, yes. And as I learnt down into my bag to see if I had something to help this woman out, in my mind clicked, the fellow that had come into the store was Irish. and he'd said, "Do you sell 10 packs?"
Yeah.
He was after a pack of something. So, yeah, lots of things like that. So
My God.
yeah.
Far out. That's a very awkward situation to be in.
Yeah, I found myself in lots of them. I was singing one day, just minding my own business while I was dusting bottles, and a fellow came in and gave me $5 to put towards some lessons.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, you can see someone's backing you.
Yeah.
You can sing. Yeah.
Yes. Well, no, I think I can't. Another girl came in one day, and we were having a bit of a chat, and I said to her, "Oh, I hate to be rude, but you've got something stuck in your teeth. There's something stuck on your tooth." And she said to me, "I hate to be rude also, but you need glasses. I'm wearing braces." So I would take these little snippets of things that would happen in the day and sort of just, draw them out into a bit of a story. But yeah,
It's almost like being a comedian, but on paper.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's a very strange place to be a comedian because you don't really get the laugh afterwards.
No, that's right.
I suppose yourself.
Well, I made myself laugh. But
yeah, exactly. Well, that's all it's worth then, isn't it, really? Yeah. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So writing, are you writing anything at the moment? Are you wanting to
write a
book or?
Well, I'm actually in the throes of turning some of those stories into some form of it, because I was like, how do you put it in a book? I didn't want to write something, just if I took my stories and just pop them on paper, you've got something that someone might pick up and read on the toilet because, it's not a story. And I read a book recently that was sort of written in a diarized form, and there's so many of them. And I thought, so I'm actually working at the moment on trying to put my life in the bottle shop, write it as a diary, and maybe include a little bit more of me in it and my life and what goes on. Not that it's that particularly interesting, but I think I could pull it all together. I want to call it 50 Shades of Chardonnay.
Okay, that's great. do you know that'd be great to then adapt it to a play?
Exactly. Yeah. I think possibly could work. Yeah.
It would definitely work as a play. Like that would be, it's a great setting to begin with. Very easy, in terms of setting.
Absolutely.
But brings a whole host of characters and a whole host of people that from all different walks of lives.
Totally.
From up the top to down the bottom, regardless of which way you think you are.
Yeah. So no, it could make a very good play, and I like the idea of that. I like the idea of it being a sort of a play. At the moment, as it stands, just reading those stories, it's more like a multi-python skit. It's very hard.
No, and that was also what I almost saw. Was that? Yeah. It's almost like Little Britain or
Yeah. So I the idea of a complete book and a complete story, and then maybe turning it into something else, that'd be good. So that's where I'm at the moment. That's my little project. So who knows how long it will take. You think, I can do that, I'll have that done in a month or 6 months, and because it's all written, but it just doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't. You end up collating everything and then realize, oh, hang on, I could have changed this, let's restructure this. It's always the way.
This is an 8,000 page book.
Well, that's the Bible, isn't it then? The Angela Bible.
Yeah, that's right. The world according to Angela.
Yeah. So where are you, or what are you choosing to do from here then with life? Are you just going down the path of support work and writing and that sort of thing, or?
Definitely. I'll remain a support worker, and as I'm getting a little bit older, and the kids are old now, and they require much less of my time. I have to make the most of my time. That's what I'm learning now. Is we waste a lot of it. So I think now is the time to sort of put my ducks in a row, because at the moment I don't have any ducks and I don't have a row. I've just got squirrels and they're all crazy. So.
Yeah.
But,
they're all nuts. Yeah. And is there much of an age gap between your two sets of kids? Like,
Okay.
So
they're about well, Amy is 31.
Okay.
Daniel is 30 in August. Georgia is 19 and Joshua is 17 in October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there was
right. So you've kind of had to go through kids leaving twice, or you're going to. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know whether these ones are going to leave at all.
They probably won't.
We've set up a nice
my generation down. We just tend to stick around.
Yeah.
Because we had it too good, I think.
I don't mind. People say, oh, if you keep doing that downstairs and keep doing up their rooms, you know, they'll never leave. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind. Like, they can hang around for as long as they like. They're good kids. Yeah.
And are you going to be doing the Stedford this year? Or
I am.
You are? So you're going to be here?
I'm going to be there. Yeah.
Okay. So, how long are you here? Just for the week, or?
For the week. Yeah. So Vanessa's going to come and pick me up from. I'll catch a train to the Gold Coast, and she's going to visit somebody on the Gold Coast. So she was going to be there anyway. So we'll have 4 hours in the car together, which I can't wait, because even though I come to the Stedford, as you know, every year, people go, oh, it must be so great to spend all that time with your best friend. And I'm like, I barely sit, like, we are running around.
What time?
Like, yeah.
I see her while I'm on stage and she's down behind the desk.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
With her back to me.
Yeah. Oh, but you get home. And I'm like, we get home after we've been at this Stedford for 14 hours. We're like, 2 glasses of wine. Boom.
Yeah.
So the trip to Coffs will be great. And and then I'll be there for the week. I'll do the vocal emceeing, and then hopefully stay and watch Hunter do some dancing. So.
Oh, you're going to stay for a little bit after that?
Yeah. I'm hoping to stay the weekends and watch Hunter Hunter do his group stuff. So yeah.
Maybe while you're here, we can catch up, because I've got some writing stuff that I'll talk to you about. Like, we'll talk about it off once we finish recording now in
Absolutely.
a sec. But yeah. So for the future, it's support work, writing, the Stedford, friends, family, and all that.
Absolutely.
Do you feel that you're in the right place with life and where you're meant to be?
I feel like I'm on my way, Kaye. Yeah.
Challenges obviously always come with life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's what you make of it, I think, really.
Absolutely.
No, that's really beautiful. You've had a really, really very eclectic, I suppose, life, really, in a sense.
Well,
compared to most people from country Australia, you know. No, that's so good. Oh, I'm just going to check the time so we don't go over time. Oh, look at that.
Spot on.
Oh my God. I don't know how I did that.
Well done.
So please help me thank Angela. Thank you for being here today, Angela.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed it.
I did. Thank you.